One of the things I suggested in that post on the group was that ionic minerals may be a way where you can come in at a low dose and start slowly with something that might be knocking your system around. So why would ionic minerals potentially work better? I think low dose is an important thing to keep in mind here. Low dose. So if you can get low dose ionic things where you can start with like a drop and it's a really tiny amount, and then maybe you dilute it in something. I'm actually drinking chicken broth at the moment, so it's a great vehicle to hide taste. And not bone broth. I mean chicken stock. I usually distinguish between the two because I actually find it a very nice drink. I don't do a long simmer for those of you who are histamine intolerant, but sometimes you want something with a flavor. Anyhow, so I'm doing my chicken stock, and I'll add like good quality salt where it's got trace minerals. I will add, some ionic magnesium, one of the brands that I mentioned in the post, but my current favorite friend seems to be the BioAbsorb nutraceutical one. I like that it's cost effective. It's not as expensive as some of the others. And frankly, I will actually take things like a good quality mineral water, like a Gerolsteiner, which is Gerolsteiner. That is a very high calcium mineral water. And so I will drink that periodically, although I don't buy it for every day because it's expensive over here. But I do drink that because what we've got is ionic calcium. I'm drinking a glass of water and I'm getting a little bit of a dose with my water in a form where the body doesn't have to do a lot of work to absorb it. If I'm taking something like calcium citrate, or something where my mineral is bound to something else, that's something where the body might have to do some work to pull that in. But if you're talking about an ionic mineral, just a calcium ion on its own, that can pass through the gut lining almost passively because it's governed to some degree by the laws of chemistry. Our body can play with those laws a little bit by changing the qualities of a membrane, or sort of working around with chemistry in a different way. But if you have a concentration of something on one side of what I would call a semi-permeable layer, which the gut is, then it goes from an area of high concentration to low concentration without effort. And that's, if I'm drinking high calcium mineral water, that can happen in the gut. So I like to try and take the stress off the gut. The gut's not having to do a lot of work to get these nutrients. They're just passing into my body. That's perfect. And I also started to think about how we used to get minerals. And if you think about it, most people's wells would have had water that had some degree of minerals in it because the water would be filtered through rock layers and then would be available through a well. So I think our bodies actually are kind of primed to be able to make better use of those kinds of vehicles for minerals. So I've gone a little bit away from taking supplements where you've got a capsule or a tablet and you kind of get this big bang dose in your gut all at once as the capsule opens or as the tablet breaks down. And I've gone to low dose, bioavailable, maybe even biologically appropriate with things like mineral waters or liquids and ionic supplements. At this point, that experiment, both with people who have very compromised health, like the client I was talking about, and with somebody like me, I have noticed a difference in energy levels and also in little things, better sleep because I'm supplying the right things to the muscles. You need magnesium for the muscles to relax. It just seems to work in a different way than taking one of these big honking tablets that we used to have. We had these CalMag citrate tablets and they were huge. I used to have to take a lot of them to feel like they were working as well. So what I really like with the Ionic is that I throw some in everything I drink, and my bowels work better. A lot of us can have problems with constipation. I'm one of those. If I'm taking more minerals, particularly ionic magnesium, I don't have issues there.